I haven't talked to an attorney because I feel I'm innocent. You know, I never intended to deceive or lie or persuade anybody to give me this money. I mean, on the victims' compensation form papers, it says who paid for the funeral. Well, I paid for the funeral out of John Breaux Memorial Fund, and I've stated that from the very beginning. And I gave the victims' compensation fund a copy of the mortuary bill, and if they would have called, they would have seen that that was paid for by the memorial fund. But they never did, and they gave me the money. And I guess I was a little, how do I say, naive, or you know, I didn't understand exactly why they were giving me the money. I was just naive, I guess. I don't know. I was, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. I just filled out the paperwork the best I could. I probably should have had an attorney help me fill out the paperwork. And since I'm the only one on the John Breaux Memorial Fund account, I paid for it out of the John Breaux Memorial Fund account.
And you said you gave the victims fund, compensation fund, what,
a copy of the mortuary bill. If they would have, I know there's a board, 3 board members or something, that's supposed to go through that paperwork and look and check and make sure everything's legit. If they would have done that, they would have seen, you know. And I probably should have put, you know, that I paid for it, because it says who paid for the funeral. And I put David Bright because I paid for it out of the John Breaux Memorial Fund. I probably should have put David Bright from the John Breaux Memorial Fund.
Okay.
But since I'm the only one on the account, I paid for it out of the account, out of the Memorial Fund account. And then they sent me the money, and I took it because they sent it to me. I thought everything was okay. You know, and I would have, you know, the only reason I didn't put it in the Memorial Fund was because it was made out to me, and I thought it was for us. I thought we were the victims at the time, and I thought that was to help us. But I didn't know at the time that it was strictly for repayment of funeral expenses. I didn't know that until after. Now I'm finding this out. I'm like, okay. And after that conversation, during that meeting, they asked if we had filled out the victims' comp papers. And we said no, we didn't think it was right because the funeral was paid for by the Memorial Fund. They both told me you should fill it out anyhow because all the Victims' Compensation Fund can do is say no. So you're entitled to that, you should do it. Driving home from that meeting, my wife and I discussed it. Well, she was against it, and I said, they're telling us we should do it, we should do it. I mean, all they can say is no. So we filled out the paperwork, which isn't an easy thing to do, and we did best we could. And on one of those questions it says who paid for it. I paid for it out of the John Breaux Memorial Fund.
Right.
So I put my name, I'm the one who signed the check. We sent it in, they gave us the money. So I took the money. If I would have taken the money and stuck it in the Memorial Fund and then took out $7,000 to pay for my 6 months of not living and pay back my family and catch up on my bills and food, there'd be no problem. But I didn't want any money that was going into the Memorial Fund to be taken out for anything. So any money that went into my brother's Memorial Fund for his statue and for his funeral expenses would stay there. Well, because I thought this money was for me and for my family because we were victims, I took it. It was made out to me. I deposited it in my account. So the law is no excuse. And when they said, you know, I've cooperated with the Louisville detective who said I hadn't done anything wrong. He turned that paperwork over to the district attorney's office of Boulder. They said I hadn't done anything wrong. And because the Victims' Compensation Fund got involved because of my statements about certain people telling me I should be filing for this, they couldn't investigate each other. They're in the same building, and
right,
so that's how Larimer got involved. And I've been cooperating with Elliot Phelps and Mike Pearson and told them everything I'm telling you right now. And he said that I intended to mislead or influence a public servant, which, you know, if that's what he says, then, you know, that's what it appears. But that was never my intent ever. I never intended to lie, deceive, steal, or anything. And I was just, you know, obviously I didn't know the law very well.